Happy Infra Day. Sounds like a holiday. Happy Infra Day. For all our infrastructure nerds in here, I'm sure it'd be a really fun holiday. So my name is Zach Eichholz. I'm the Chief Resilience Manager for the City of Cape Canaveral in Brevard County, Florida, also known as America's Space Coast, the coast that launches all the rockets. Really cool. Sorry, Miami, I think we got that one over you, but that's okay. I'm in charge of the city's resilience division situated within its community and economic development department. And you've already heard some from my coworkers today, Lexi and Kyle. So I won't really go over too much of what they've done, but I will be giving you kind of a visual storytelling guide of our sustainability and resilience program, which you've already heard is called the Cape Canaveral 2063 program. So named because that is the year the city would be 100 years old, and we're looking to keep it around by then. So got a lot of pretty pictures. So with that, let's get started. Oh, and I did want to say too, this is the second Infra Day that I've actually spoken at. I had the pleasure of speaking at one in, if anybody can remember around this time, February 20th, 2020, just before all hell broke loose. And we were taught a very visceral long-term lesson of why resilience planning is so important that we're still doing with to this day. So before I get started with the program, I kind of wanted you to see the city's new vision statement that was adopted by our city council last year. This used to be 5 paragraphs long. That's insane, about each paragraph being that long. We'd have it plastered on the wall of City Hall lobby, and people would come in and they'd be looking at the wall for 10 minutes. And what are you looking at the wall for 10 minutes for? Oh, you're reading the vision statement. We have to change that. This is crazy. So it was condensed down into this after a revisioning session. And we take a lot of the things that we do from this vision statement. I've bolded some of the items that we kind of leverage to use for our program that City Council can latch onto and use as guiding terms for the program. A warm, inclusive beachside community, resilience, multimodal safety, pedestrian-oriented, community stewardship, important future-ready, essential civic services, and quality of life amenities. We use that one a lot. So the Space Coast Reborn. As you've probably heard, the Space Coast in Brevard County is a very up-and-coming place. There are tens of thousands moving there to help push America's revitalized space program forward, a lot through privatization of rockets and space travel. Blue Origin, SpaceX, Relativity, Northrop Grumman, all of them are coming, some of which are housed in the city, and the city directly and indirectly supports these industries through entertainment, lodging, housing, transportation, infrastructure, things like that. So a very up-and-coming place, and it's kind of a unique situation. We're a very small city, only about 1.9 square miles, with a standing population of about 10,000, but extremely transitory given our surrounding partners. We have some of the largest private and public entities in the entire world next to our small little municipality, sandwiched between, look how beautiful this photo is with that rocket going off over the Atlantic Ocean. That is a promo picture if I ever saw one. You can see Port Canaveral right there. They're our northern border. Above them is the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, the Kennedy Space Cert, and then to our south is the famous city of Cocoa Beach, I Dream of Jeannie. And we're sandwiched in there right in the middle where that really unnatural square is, jutting out into the Banana River Lagoon, and then the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. So we're kind of in the confluence of all this redevelopments and nationally significant space activities, with Port Canaveral being, I think they were demoted to the second largest cruise port in the world by passenger volume from Port Miami. Ouch. But that we'll take it back, don't worry. So it's really interesting. Look at all this beauty and development going on, but then we also have, this picture is great, but it's also terrifying because it shows our problem of water. We're surrounded by water. So this is a picture from Hurricane Nicole and its storm surge in November of 2022. I'm sure a lot of us remember that storm and that storm season, which also brought Hurricane Ian, which was an extremely devastating storm for the state of Florida. I believe it was the costliest on record for the state by far. So we're dealing with things like stormwater backup, storm surge, excess rainfall, that is really turning the community to have these chronic and acute flood threats in the midst of all this development. So how do we manage this? So the city is being really future ready and proactive right now. We have a lot of large scale initiatives going on. Kind of really started with a vulnerability assessment that was done in collaboration with the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council back in 2019. From there, we took the recommendations of that vulnerability assessment and turned it into a resiliency action plan, the first in the city's history. That was what I was actually originally hired to do, and then to implement after we adopted it, which was unanimous, thankfully. And within it are 56, we call them preparedness targets that go out to 2050. and kind of set our vision and future of what we want to see. Some of the commitments within that plan: 100% alternative vehicle fleet by 2035, carbon neutrality by 2050, 100% renewable energy by 2050, safety, bikeability, walkability, environmental restoration and conservation. We've also joined the Climate Mayors Coalition and the Florida Race to Zero initiative. And in 2022, we officially branded the program the Cape Canaveral 2063 program, which you've already heard about. So, and with that came the formation of the city's first ever resilience division. And the resilience division basically breaks these things down that it does into these 4 points: reducing single points of failure, enhancing continuity of operations, restoring natural ecosystem services, and empowering residents. So first, we need to understand what is affecting us. So we started off by implementing a network of remote sensor sites across the city with the help of local university partners, including Florida Atlantic University and Stetson University. We have 7 such sites that are comprised of weather stations and tidal gauges that we can monitor in real time, and the public can as well, so they can see that data anytime they want. All but only 2 of these sites the city paid for. The rest are all donated by research partners, which is fantastic. So these have been really helpful. We've been able to feed real-time data into engineering projects with this that the public can see too, as I said. It's kind of our flagship project here. Kyle kind of touched on this in his panel discussion. This is the new City of Cape Canaveral Community Center, also known as C5, because there's 5 C's, get it? C5. This is our resilience hub. It was definitely not built from the beginning to be one, but we are slowly but surely turning it into one. It is being upgraded as we speak with various projects and amenities that I would be comfortable calling it a resilience hub. It's 24,000 square feet, 2 stories, built in a historically disadvantaged community, and this is the first community center that the city has ever had. That used to be a portable, so we've kind of upgraded a little bit. This is a picture from the inside. It's got a gymnasium, basketball hoops, multi-purpose rooms, traverse wall, and you can't forget these, pickleball courts. So, the indoor running track goes across the top. One of the features that we've added, kind of adding to that resilience hub, is that device you see on the far right. That is called a CMCE device. I don't know what that stands for because it's Spanish, I'm sorry. But it basically is a device that cancels out lightning strikes within the vicinity of the building, so it cannot strike and connect with the ground, which is really important because we have had a lot of lightning damage where we are, especially at our water treatment plant. We've been installing those devices at every city facility, and since installing them, I'm pleased to say we have not had any on-property lightning damage since, which is pretty cool. And it also helps keep the residents safe. It's comfortable, 72 degrees Fahrenheit inside, 50% humidity. So we've been kind of started to build it as a heat shelter, as we saw an extremely hot summer last year. And outside, to add to that heat shelter capability, is a splash pad. I've personally used this. It is great fun. You should come and try it. Water squirts out of literally everything you see in that photo. It's so much fun. And on the roof is the 48 kilowatt rooftop solar array that the building has. This was the first in the city's history, first on a municipal building, I should say. And this is part 1 of a 2-part energy resilience project for the building. The second part is a battery energy storage system that we were hoping to install later this year with the help of HMGP funding from Hurricane Ian, if we get it. If we don't get it, we'll probably just wait a year and try and budget it ourselves. That way we can have backup power from this solar array. For right now, we're looking at about 4 hours of off-grid operation so that people can come and have a dedicated space to get cold water, hot food, get some fans for some cooling, communications, and things like that. The Cultural Arts Preservation and Enrichment Center, also known as the Cape Center. This used to be City Hall. It was built in 1963. It had a total revitalization and is now the city's first cultural arts center where we can showcase the city's history, Brevard County history, talk about the environment, and things of that nature. A really cool communal space that people can use as they want and learn about history and learn about the future. It also has a solar array, a 25 kilowatt system. It's the city's second municipal rooftop solar array, so we're very excited about that. Speaking of communications, so we are on a barrier island, and when I learned that our internet is provided by a microwave beam from the mainland that bounces off a condo that isn't even in the city limits to a transmitter or to a receiver that's on City Hall on a flimsy aluminum pole, I said, you know what, I think we should get some resilience on that. So we went ahead and got a Starlink terminal from SpaceX. So kind of using I guess you could say a local business in the form of SpaceX. This will provide backup internet to every city facility if the ground connection goes out. Starlink is talking to thousands of orbital satellites in space. The network is getting better all the time. So the connectivity is getting better all the time, and we have tested it, and it does work, so that is really cool. This is the commercial variant. There is a residential variant that I don't think could carry our bandwidth, but the commercial one seems to do just fine. Highly recommend. We just recently upgraded all the city's EV charging stations from non-networked free-to-use to networked pay-to-use variants from a company called Nova Charge. There's 6 of them in the city, each with 2 plugs. We've seen a lot of usage out of these, especially with the space sector. A lot of people that work for them, for those types of companies, tend to buy vehicles like this, so we're seeing a lot of use out of them, which is great. And we also, independent of us, Tesla just installed the first Tesla supercharging station on the Bear Island in Brevard County, so we're happy to host that. And like I said, we had nothing to do with it. Tesla put out its quarterly vote for where people would want to see a Tesla supercharger put in, and they voted Cape Canaveral, so thank you. We'll take it. So this is a very exciting project that I'm really pleased to show. This is the Veterans Memorial Park Smart Rain Garden. This is being funded by a National Science Foundation grant that the city was awarded in partnership with 14 other entities in the private and public sectors, a lot of universities and contractors and things like that. This is to revitalize what is currently a dry retention pond that just really looks like a boring grass ditch, and turn it into this beautiful low-impact development-based amenity that can collect more stormwater and treat it much more in a much more capable way than what the site can currently do now in a park that's being revitalized adjacent to this grant project. We call it a smart rain garden because this will be wired up with sensors to tell us how much stormwater is coming in, coming out, and the type of nutrient treatment that we're getting. A lot of stuff with low-impact development, you know, it looks cool, it's nice, how much is it really doing? There's a lot of stuff up in the air for science with that. We want to show it really can work and be a beautiful public amenity. Annual sea oat planting. You know, sometimes resiliency can be very simple, as just putting in these little shoots of sea oats. Every year since 2005, the city has been hosting a sea oat planting, and we have since planted over 176,000 sea oats to revitalize our dune system, which was completely destroyed after the 2004 hurricane season with Charlie, Francis, Ivan, and Jean that went through. The beach was literally gone. If you walked over the public crossovers, you would have stepped into the ocean. So since then, with some beach renourishment and sand fencing, and with these little guys, we've been able to rebuild the dunes and build an awesome community program that really shows people the power of natural infrastructure and what they can do and how they can be a difference in their community, kind of like Miami Beach was saying with their dunes. And we have, to that point, we have a lot of programs that help empower residents. We have the Adopt a Mangrove, Adopt a Tree, and Adopt a Rain Barrel program that people can use to help ensure their own sustainability on their private property and resilience. So what's coming up in 2024? So our third rooftop solar array is being spec'd right now. We put in for HMGP funding with this through Hurricane Nicole. This would be a 53 kilowatt system on the roof of our Brevard County Sheriff's Office precinct building. The City of Cape Canaveral does not have its own fire department or police department. It is outsourced to the county fire and rescue services. But we do own this building, and we do pay for its power, so that's why we will be putting a rooftop solar array on it. Also because it's a critical facility, and we one day want to see it combined with a battery storage system, as well as its existing diesel generator. And that's what it will hopefully look like. We have our first permanent pump station going in at the Center Street Stormwater Basin, which is one of our most vulnerable stormwater basins in terms of chronic flooding, a lot of impervious cover. This is the stormwater outfall. It's underwater, which is not great. And there's one of our tidal gauges right there that's measuring it. And I didn't need it on this day to tell me things were bad, but that pump will be put in and be able to take out 6,200 gallons of water per minute out of that stormwater system. And it probably will not be our last pump system going in. There's also a tidal valve going in to prevent backflow situations at this outfall. And finally, oh, you see the city of Orlando there? We got to get that off. We got to get that off. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to take, we're going to get through, so also through HMGP funding for Hurricane Nicole, which is funding that you're not supposed to utilize for vehicle acquisition. As you can tell, that is a vehicle. It is a Ford F-150 Lightning, all-electric pickup truck. However, Ford bills these as backup generators. So we put in for HMGP funding for portable backup generators. That is a portable backup generator. So I don't know if we're going to get that one, but hopefully we do. And I think we put up a good argument. But we would utilize these for vehicle-to-building operations to charge things as we need during disaster situations. And 99% of the time that they wouldn't be used as a backup generator, they can be used as great fleet vehicles. And that is all the time I have. I thank you for yours. If you have any questions, I'll be outside. Thank you very much.